How to avoid burnout when working from home. Did you know that even though many of us have swapped to working remotely or from home offices, burnout is still lurking around the corner? And I've got strategies to help you avoid that burnout in this video. You ready to hear it? Let's dive in. So much of us have transitioned to working into home offices. Now, I know a lot of you have transitioned back into your physical office spaces, but many of us are still working from home at least a day or two a week. And believe it or not, even though you're working from the comfort of your own home, burnout is still possible. And for some, it's even more prevalent when you're in a home office, when the lines are blurred between home and work. Well, in this video, you're going to learn 3 strategies to fight burnout when working remotely. You're going to learn the power of physical breaks, mental breaks, and emotional breaks. The shift from the physical office space into our home offices is real, right? It's very relevant. A lot of us are experiencing it. Many of you even still working remotely today. And although you might think that because you're only 10 steps away from your own bedroom, that burnout won't find you, that's incorrect. Burnout still exists. And honestly, it's a little bit more prevalent today when working from home because the lines are so blurred. When you are used to getting up and leaving, wanting to get back to your home, you're already there. And so the workday can stretch longer and longer. I want to share with you 3 strategies, 3 tips that's going to help you avoid that risk of burnout while working remotely. So let's start with the first, and that is taking a physical break. And this is all about resting your body, right? Resting your eyes. You're staring at a computer screen, you're typing, you're looking at your phone. Your eyes are going to get fatigued, especially when you're doing that for hours and hours on end. So make it a point, and I even will mark it on my calendar every maybe hour or so to step away from the computer screen. Whether that be stepping outside, maybe you're going into the kitchen, getting a coffee, some way you're resting your physical body, taking a break from staring at that screen as best as you can. These physical breaks will go a long way in making sure that you remain refreshed and energized moving throughout the day. Okay, second strategy, and we're still thinking about breaks, right? But this is a mental break, right? A mental break. And I didn't even write a 1 on the screen. Okay, number 1, physical break. Number 2 is a mental break, right? This is about giving your mind that respite, right? So you're not constantly thinking about, this is the next meeting I got to go to. What do I have to be prepared for this? Who do I need to deliver this, work to? Give yourself time to mentally take a break from your everyday work, right? And this could look like maybe you're watching a little snippet of your favorite show on Netflix. Maybe you're taking time to read maybe a book that you've been reading. Maybe you're listening to a podcast. Take a quick moment to take that mental break. When we were all working in the office, those mental breaks were, stopping folks in the hallway, chopping it up, thinking about a game that's coming on in the evening, thinking about maybe going to toss a frisbee. When you're working from home, you kind of lose that kind of hallway one-on-one interaction to break your mental self away from your work. So be very intentional when you're working from home to create those breaks. Whether that be engaging again in a Netflix show, maybe you're playing with your pets, something so that you're breaking all of that mental energy that you've been pouring into your work. Last and certainly not least, maybe the most important as we think about, invigorating ourselves, maintaining that energy throughout the day and fighting burnout are emotional breaks. Emotional breaks. And I'm going to remember to write a number 3 on the board. Emotional breaks, right? So this one is maybe a little bit nuanced as you think about emotions and taking a break from that as it relates to work. So the idea of an emotional break can feel a little bit nuanced, but it's actually very closely connected and tied to a mental break. At some point throughout the day, engage in an activity, engage in something that inspires joy, that inspires a really high vibrating emotional energy within you. And again, that could also be taking a break to take your dog on a walk or to play with your pets or to take a long walk in and of yourself, right? Think about that thing throughout your day that invites joy, that really gives you just a boost of high vibrating energy and emotion. These can be critical, especially when you've been sitting in meetings all day long, staring at your computer screen, dealing with direct reports, dealing with complexity, dealing with big change and disruption that might be happening in your organization. Give yourself a moment to take an emotional break. Take care of your heart throughout the day. So as you can see, these breaks are all around your physical body, your mind, and your heart and spirit. Making sure you're taking these breaks all throughout the day, and it can work wonders in avoiding burnout, even when working remotely. By the way, if you're getting value out of this content, and maybe if some of these breaks are resonating with you, comment below. I'm so curious to learn how other people take breaks throughout their day to avoid burnout and to keep themselves engaged. So share below with the community. All right, let's get back into it. For example, as we think about taking these breaks, one of my wife's favorite things to do is to work on a puzzle. They love puzzling. And so there's always something set out on the kitchen counter or out in the living room, and they come in, work on the puzzle, and then get back into their work. So find that thing that actually sparks that light, that joy within you, whether it's puzzling, and personally, I can't stand the puzzle, although sometimes they let me engage in it, and what I do is I watch them, and then as soon as they get very close to the end, I pull that one piece and I stick it in and say, "We did it!" And that's a great emotional break for me. And maybe it ruins it for my wife, but whatever works for you. Make sure you're finding that opportunity, that time to spark joy, to spark some gratitude in your day. It can go such a long way to invigorate and bring that spirit and that energy into the work that you do. So now that you've learned strategies to avoid burnout when you're working remotely, I've got something else I want to gift to you. So my company, Change Enthusiasm Global, recently partnered with a leading research firm to study change and emotion in the workplace. And one of the things that we really focused on was burnout. What drives it, and what are some of the strategies to mitigate it? And I want to gift that to you for free. All you got to do is click on the link below. I want to make sure you have the research, the insights, the data to be successful, to grow through even your greatest change challenges. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.